everybody, today we have a wall pack to take a look at. This is a Lithonia TWP 100 watt high pressure sodium wall pack fixture. Picked this up at the Restore for a little over $5. The price tag here of $55, well, that was the original price. It was 90% off, so got a much better deal on it. It is new old stock, it just doesn't have the box. And if we zoom out here, so we can get a better look at the fixture, we'll see the original installation instructions here that have unfortunately been ripped in half. So this is, as we've stated, the TWP wall pack, Lithonia High Tech. It doesn't really say anything about the fixtures, bulb or anything inside. It's really just instructions on mounting it. And we have a revision of December of '95 in the corner here. The other side is just in another language, so there's not really much information here. And when I originally saw it on the shelf at the Restore, I wasn't sure what kind of bulb it took, but the first thing that caught my eye is the socket's in a really weird spot. Usually a fixture this big, you'd end up having a mogul base bulb inside of it, but as you can kind of tell with it being positioned here, it can't be mogul base. Has to be medium. Very interesting. So, this is a polycarbonate housing. There's no metal here. We took a look at one of these fixtures a little while back on the channel. It was a 250 watt metal halide Lithonia wall pack. Now that one had a nice glass refractor and an all metal enclosure, and that made sense. We have a higher wattage bulb. We're going to need a higher wattage housing to withstand that heat. So with this one being polycarbonate, I would assume it's more of a lower end version. Now, it does come in a variety of different bulbs that you could get to put in here, or, ballast combinations. This one, as I stated, is 100 watt high pressure sodium, but taking a look online, you could get this anywhere between 35 watt to 150 watt high pressure sodium. I believe 70 to 150 watt metal halide, or even amazingly, 35 watt low pressure sodium these were originally offered in. Now I do believe Lithonia still has this particular brand or design, the TWP wall pack. It's just LED now instead of offering any type of high intensity discharge for this fixture. So this is obviously an older model, being that it's still high intensity discharge. Of course, we'll see when we open it up. But I thought that was neat looking at the original manual for this, or the ordering sheet, that it came in high pressure sodium, metal halide, and low pressure sodium. Very cool. I don't remember seeing mercury vapor. It could have been an option, but I don't think so. The low pressure sodium version would have been really cool to find. So, on the outside of the fixture here, as you can see, we've talked about it 500 times, it's all polycarbonate. So, unlike the one that is glass and metal, it's not two separate pieces. We have one big piece here, and we do have our two screws at the bottom. They're just some standard screws. Here's a side profile of the fixture. Definitely has a little bit more of a curve to it. The all metal design had the housing come all the way out here and then come back, but you had a bigger ballast up here as well. Here's the top of the fixture. One thing that annoys me with these bigger wall packs is they only have an entry point on the top. There's no other entry point. Now you may have noticed on the side here, there's a hole, and I don't believe that's for electrical in. I think that's for a photo cell, as it did mention in the ordering sheet that you could offer or install a photo cell. That was an option. On the other side here, we'll find a whole lot of nothing, and you can definitely see that medium base socket inside. So the back of the fixture is some type of metal, I'm sure aluminum or something to that nature. Again, new old stock, so nothing's been knocked out for wires in. Pretty cool to find fixtures like this. I don't know why lately I've been finding so many new old stock fixtures. I don't know if they're clearing them out of somewhere and people are donating them to the Restore. Weird. Usually you find more used ones than new old stock, but we've definitely been on a roll recently. Now this has a 3-hole mount on the back here because they're expecting this to be mounted on a wall, obviously, wall pack. And you'd have a variety of different ways to mount it. Now I'm probably going to mount this above the door out here because it has a big header. And that's perfect for screwing in such a weird combination like this. Now, you could put it on an electrical box, and that probably would hold it, because the thing isn't too heavy. Definitely most of the weight's up here with the ballast, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But it's neat that they have this texture on the back. You would never see it otherwise. And of course, the bottom here. So let me get this reoriented. And there's a head-on look. And we'll open it up. Now, the top does come off. It just swings right off like that. And there's the inside. You can see it's all one piece with a bronze coating in here. And we do have some type of sticker here. Let's see if I can get it close to the camera. Okay, so that must have been whoever manufactured the plastic housing here. We have a gasket going all the way around, and the screws are captive for the most part. And the reason I say for the most part is because this fixture did come with an option to have security bit screws, the Torx screws with a little pin in the middle, just for vandal resistance. And obviously these have been in here a while. They're kind of starting to corrode and rust. But that was an option. You could take out the hex-headed screws and put in some security bit screws. With the front off, we obviously get more information in here, so let's zoom back down in. Now, we do see our medium base socket. Just so odd to me, such a big fixture, and then a medium base bulb. Now, a thing to note about that is across the board, 35 to 150 watt high pressure sodium, and 70 to 150 watt metal halide, all of those options, except for the low pressure sodium option naturally, they were only available in medium base. There was no option for this fixture to have a mogul base. At least that's what I read on the ordering sheet. I thought that was kind of odd. Maybe it's just easier to use these, but if you notice, they kind of thought about it. Look how the refractor is designed here to have kind of the bulb right in the middle, but you could have done the same thing with a mogul bulb and then line up the arc tube right where you wanted it. It's just bizarre to me. I don't know if I really like it, to be honest, but we're going to keep it all original. If a fixture is big enough, I'd rather have it have the mogul base bulb. I think it looks neater with the bigger bulb in it than a little tiny bulb in a giant fixture. Okay, enough ranting about the bulb. Let's take a look at our stickers here. So this one, again, is 100 watt, high pressure sodium. We got a multi-tap ballast. Lithonia High Tech, and this is an older one, November 10th of 1998. Wow, okay. High power factor naturally, and here you can see the ordering code for this particular fixture. I know a lot of them, when I was looking at it on their ordering sheet, come with an L at the end, and I think that means it comes with a lamp included, but this one is omitted. It's not even there, so I wonder if that's why we do not have a bulb included with this fixture. And of course we have our IP rating here for water intrusion and some other information as well. So let me reposition this in the middle of our screen, and we'll take some of these screws off and see what's hidden underneath. So all I've done is just loosen this one screw, and I don't see any in the back, so I'm guessing this just comes right off. And it does. And this is really heavy. This has to be steel or something. This is not aluminum. This has a lot of weight to it compared to the rest of the fixture. Didn't we just look at this? There's more screws. Did they get caught underneath there during manufacturing? Do they have the same heads? Looks like it. Okay. Well, maybe when they were putting it together, that slid up underneath there, and somebody came along and they said, oh, it didn't come with screws, so here's more screws. So I guess we got a bunch of security head screws. Wonderful. And, of course, we've gotten to the goods. So let's go ahead and take a look at our ballast here. It's an advanced 100 watt high pressure sodium ballast, naturally, with our multi-tap options. So there's the ballast sticker. Move our way on down here. I'm sure this is just a caution notice telling us that we need to, wire it up correctly, or what it has been wired for from the factory. It says this fixture is factory wired for 277 volt. Okay, so we'll need to modify that before we use the fixture. And of course we have our capacitor and igniter here. Capacitor for the high power factor. And underneath we can see our sticker here, High Tech Lighting Division. I wonder if that was their original name and then they put the Lithonia name on top of it. I'm not sure. You don't really hear the high-tech side of Lithonia anymore. You know how this logo has both things on it. So the next thing we need to do is get this thing wired for 120 volts so we can enjoy it naturally. So we're going to have to get rid of this zip tie. Neat blue zip tie. And then let's see what we got going on here. So we have our sticker. But yeah, that's all it is. It's just warning you that it was wired from the factory for 277. It's nice that they did that. Otherwise, you would have ended up, you know, if you weren't paying attention, just wiring it up wrong. So let's just twist these wires together here. And then we'll see that this does go to the 277 wire. So let's take that off. And we need to locate our 120. Looks like here is our friend 120. So we definitely will need that. And our 277 we need to cover up because it will have voltage on it. And we will want that covered up so we don't have anything leaking out the other end. That's why all of these have little covers on them from the factory. So to make it safe, we need to put a wire nut on here so we don't have any voltage coming out the other end. We got our 120 volt wire stripped here, and this still looks fine, so we're going to retwist this together, and then we'll take our wire nut again and we'll change our option here to 120 volt. Give it a little tug just to make sure. There we go. Okay, and of course our neutral here. Now I might do something similar with this fixture like I did with the 250 watt metal halide, where I had the wire come in through the bottom corner here. I just don't see another way to put it the way that I like to wire these up. So we're probably going to have to drill a hole down here to accommodate such a, well, wire. And we're back. We got our hole drilled here in the bottom, just the right size for our power cord, wherever I put it. Here it is. And this will slide right on in there, just like so. And now we can wire up our fixture. I just decided to get rid of those pigtail wires, and we'll just wire it directly in. It's one less thing to go wrong. So we'll just get these wired up here, our white to the common. Make sure that's good. Our black to the 120 volt. And we'll make sure that's good. And of course we have our ground here, and that looks like it'll reach all the way up to our ground screw right there. So we're just going to remove this ground wire. It'll be great for another project. And we're all wired up. Now the main issue is here, I should have put these underneath the socket so we don't have wires over it like this. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick by, well, picking up our socket here and then placing it back down. There we go, that's a lot better. Okay, now that we have that all done, I'd like to just put like a zip tie or something on here as a cord restraint so the cord doesn't pull out. You know, I thought before we do that, we don't know how much wire we need here. And that's mostly because there's not really a way down here to have the wire come out. We can have it come out in this corner here, and that's probably what we're going to have to do. So, with that being said, let's get this cover back on and see where all these wires line up. Because I think that's going to be a little bit of an issue trying to get this on here. So with this cover back on, it doesn't really cover it much anyway, because you can still see some of the wires over here. It's just kind of a cosmetic cover, I guess. But I just want these wires to not have to push against that. So let's bring in our wire here so it kind of keeps it pushed away from that. So we probably want it about here or so. So I kind of give 2 twists on it there. We'll tighten it up. And there's our cord restraint. Nice. Now with the fixture all wired up, we just got to add a bulb. And I'm going to use this used Philips 100 watt high pressure sodium bulb. I'm not entirely sure where the etch went on this because I know it was starting to come off. That's why I wrote 100 watt on it. It's an alto, obviously, as you can see, but this will work. So let's put our bulb in here. And that's what it looks like with our little bulb. That's just so comical to me. Now, of course, we need to put our cover on, and then we'll mount it up. But let's just get our cover back on, just for looks here. And that's what it looks like with the bulb installed. Just a little bulb in there. So gonna get this thing mounted on the wall, and we'll take a look at it turning on. Got the fixture installed next to its 250 watt metal halide friend here. And you can see a quick little comparison of the two. Obviously the metal and glass design is slightly different than the polycarbonate. We do have the top coming out here a little bit where the polycarbonate is kind of curved all the way. And of course there are two different models, so naturally they're two slightly different designs, but you can see many similarities here. So let's go ahead and set up the camera on the tripod and take a look at it turning on. Got the camera on the tripod, so let's go ahead and turn off our lights. We're currently at 118.1 volts. So let's turn it on here in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, love that sound right at the beginning there. Kind of that bassy ballast sound. That was pretty cool. Okay, we're at 117.8 volts, 1.1 amps, 74.6 watts, and a power factor of 0.6. Okay, we got that beautiful bright deep orange going on here, so let's get a reading. And we'll save that. The spectrum of the bulb. And the CRI of the bulb. As usual, let's let it warm up. Okay, so I'm going to say we're at full brightness now. Both the lux meter and watt meter have leveled out in their readings. So let's go ahead, take a look at how well it's lighting everything up, and look at some meters. We're currently at 116.6 volts, 1.16 amps, 125 watts, and a power factor of 0.92. Very nice. Lighting up its new home quite well, no complaints there. Incredibly silent, however that's to be expected for a brand new fixture. And of course, let's see how well it's lighting up the other direction. Definitely seems to be throwing most of the light directly away from it. You can see here it pretty much lights up everything equally. Of course, we've got to get an up-close look of the refractor here. And as you can see, it kind of doubles the arc tube. As you can see, there's two. You have the actual one, and then its refracted friend there, so you definitely get double the light they're going for. Pretty neat design. We do get some light out of the side here, but it's not as concentrated as the front. Naturally, it's the closest to the arc tube being in the front there. And taking a look at the lux meter, this is from the refracted light directly out of the bottom. We're sitting right around 360 lux or so. The spectrum of the bulb, and the CRI of the bulb. Gotta have cool down time. As always, I do hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, be sure to give it a like down below and leave a comment. I do enjoy reading all of your comments. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more great videos like this one. Also check out my secondary channel Merkove and subscribe over there for more behind the scenes and alternative content. Of course, check out the other videos here on this screen, and as always, thank you very much for watching.